Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. So, today I want to speak about a very core, very important part of the ascension of the divine feminine, and that has to do with deep self respect. So, anybody who is on an awakening journey for that matter will come to a point where they will deeply start respecting and valuing themselves. When we try and understand this from the perspective of our chakras, it has an element of your solar plexus where you will really value yourself. You're not deriving your power, strength, etc., from other people around you. And this gives you the strength then to be open towards yourself, to be open towards life without your boundaries being in place, boundaries and situations where you don't have respect. It is very difficult for you to trust and to be open and to love other people or to even love yourself or to come in unconditional love, as far as your twin flame is concerned. And so, this is an important message that I feel like sharing today, that respect is what humans, don't give to each other. Children are never respected. Children are treated as a nuisance. They are seen as a liability when they come. Parents are often treating the child as, demanding, and very few parents are patiently relating to the child in the way the child wants to be related to. Otherwise, the child almost feels guilty for wanting attention or confused about, I want attention, but I do not know where else to go if I'm not receiving it from you. So, what this does is, it leads to this kind of a consciousness of the mind. In the mind, you will start to believe that you don't deserve respect, that you are not respectable. Now, when you go to school, of course, you have this template inside of you, so you have attracted more situations where you're not respected. Definitely, you will have some teachers who disrespected you. You will have friends, you may have been bullied, you may have gone through a lot, you may have had trouble in your relationships where you experienced immense disrespect. Now, the problem is if you stay very conscious, very aware, 100% of the times, these blocks and these wounds will not matter. But since that is not possible until you are completely ascended and you're very conscious, and even then, it is natural, sometimes to go back into the mind and to kind of be distracted. These patterns will come up and will start playing. Why is this significant for twin flames? Because as a twin flame, you are going through a certain ascension process where the whole point of your ascension is to purge these lower impressions from your system. These impressions that have caused a block in the chakra system, you might understand it like that, or you might just understand it from the point of view of how these identifications and constantly acting from these identifications unconsciously leads you to feel trapped and leads you to repeating the same karmic cycles. So, as you ascend, you will be freeing yourself from these karmic cycles of repetition and these karmic cycles of feeling disrespected time and time again. It's incredibly important for the divine feminine to love and respect herself, to honor herself, to value herself, because she often feels that her twin flame doesn't respect her or honors her in that way in which she wants to be honored. Almost all divine feminines have had those experiences, and this is then again a lesson for you to start honoring yourself, respecting yourself, rather than trying to get that respect from outside, that others have to respect me. Actually, the awakened feminine, or just the feminine energy, when she is awakening, this is the first thing that she becomes intolerant towards, and that is disrespect, that is dishonor. You will notice this, that when your kundalini energy really starts to awaken, There will be a certain intolerance you will have towards situations which are abusive, which are threatening, which are blatantly disrespectful to you and to you as a human being, to your work. So, you may experience this in your workplace, you may experience this with people that you're living with. That disrespect is something that just becomes unbearable for you. You do not know why. And it's not that your ego is offended or something like that. On the other hand, your ego is trained to tolerate disrespect. This is why you could have been in disrespectful situations for a really, really long time. You could have been in family situations where mild bullying was happening, sibling bullying was happening for you, your sibling was bullying you and disrespecting you. Those are also impressions that you cleanse out of your system as you ascend. And or your parents could have a certain way of talking to you which made you feel insignificant, like deep down you're not valued, you're not significant. People around you could have done that, your friends could have done that, your exes could have done that. So basically all of these impressions you have to purge out and just be conscious, like I always share, be conscious of uh, your interactions with other people. If this is something that is coming up for you right now, where in your conscious awareness you feel like others don't respect me or I'm not respected in this certain situation, a certain friendship, a certain connection, then I have to pause there and hold awareness there for how I feel, number one. And secondly, be absolutely aware of the dynamics that are playing out in that situation where I am tolerating disrespect. What inside me is causing me to tolerate disrespect? The more aware you stay, whether of outside situations, and outside situations are always a manifestation of what we have going on within us, it really, really helps you on the journey to be aware, to be conscious, to kind of just not be somebody who is moved by, external triggers, in the sense where you blame external triggers for your life situations. You must come to a place where everything external is a manifestation of the internal. So you go into a state of absolute self responsibility. So while we use all of these examples of, okay, this happened to me in childhood and I was bullied and that happened and all of that, we understand that even the healing of that experience is my responsibility. After a certain point, I don't want to go into blame games. So we understand these conditionings, these experiences of our childhood, not from a perspective of blaming parents, blaming society or anything, but holding absolute awareness to what we went through, to the patterns, to what other people around us who are significant to us or were significant to us at some point of time, under what influences were they acting. It kind of just expands our knowledge and our understanding. We don't want to turn a blind eye to what the matrix is. We want to understand the matrix so that we can dismantle the impact it has had on us by just being aware. The moment you are aware of it, and you hold compassionate space for it, you've healed it. So, um, this is, what I just wanted to speak about, that respect is something you give to yourself. A feminine will not tolerate disrespect of any kind. Whatever your heart feels, you should honor, you should value. How your heart feels in certain situations, you should honor, you should value. And instead of going with the flow of life, or continuing your friendships which have been going on for eons, oh, this is my 20-year-old friend, like I have known this friend for 20 years, that way. um, yeah, if it's not working out right now, if it's a low vibrational friendship, you have to learn to say no to that low vibrational friendship. There is no other way for it. If right now you will not say no to it, 1 year down the line, that friend will only pull out of your life, or you will start experiencing rejection cycles with this friend. So be very aware, look at the necessity of every friendship, of every connection in your life, and look at the underlying dynamic of that connection, the important connections, all connections in your life. This doesn't mean that now you will sit with a pen and paper and write this. No, it basically means that as and when these connections become active in your life in the coming days, weeks, then you will hold absolute awareness for it. This is what I mean by this, okay? So respect yourself, divine feminine, very important. In fact, this is a secret message, that your twin flame wants you to know as well, that you should respect yourself deeply, very deeply, valuing and respecting yourself. This is something that enlightened beings have shared. In the Gita, this is shared, Krishna has shared this, that where you're not respected, you should not go again. There is no need for you to go again. The part of you that takes you again to disrespectful situations is a part looking for some validation, love, and approval, which you should offer to yourself if necessary, or just know that you are already approved of by the divine. Okay. And another important part of this is that Osho also has spoken of this. So, where you have to deeply, deeply respect yourself. And when we look at it from the point of view of our chakras, from the point of view of Tantra, of how energy rises, we know that this is something that our solar plexus, when activated, when it is in its power, it will deeply respect itself. There is no reason for you to disrespect yourself. Okay? Do not think that you have to be self sacrificing. Now, some of you may confuse this and feel that, but morally, I am meant to love other people before I love myself and everything. So I will have that conditioning of self sacrifice that I uphold. I've seen self sacrifice be the way to go. I see spiritual beings are always speaking of how this self does not matter because I am one with everything. So I should have unconditional love for everyone. Do not understand unconditional love or spiritual teachings from the mind, because spiritual experiences are only true if they are happening to you. If right now you're not in that space where your heart is open into feeling yourself in everything, there is no point in trying to come from that space. You're denying what you're truly, truly feeling in your heart right now. To think that I will tolerate disrespect, I will tolerate abuse, I will tolerate dishonoring, and that is my contribution to the world, that I am showing up in this disempowered way, but in my heart I'm professing that I have unconditional love and acceptance for everyone. You're just tolerating suffering. And no divine feminine is doing that. If you see goddesses, do you think goddesses have tolerated suffering? Look at Hindu goddesses, Durga, Kali, and so many other forms. There is absolutely nothing there which is telling you that the goddess and the divine feminine is disempowered. So take that conditioning out of your system in case you have it. I feel like it's very important to share it, especially, with those who have traditional cultures, traditional upbringings, that self-sacrifice is kind of built into your system. And or you may have the opposite idea, which is the extreme opposite side of it, which is that I have to constantly be in conflict with everyone. No, it's neither of those two. It's just to be honest and authentic with how you're feeling. If I am not being respected in a situation, why am I bringing myself to go into that situation repeatedly? There is definitely a karmic connection I have there with that person, which is teaching me a lesson. When we are dealing in karma, we will obviously have these negative experiences. Only when you ascend from your karmic cycles, do these experiences, then you can consciously choose how to relate and how to kind of handle these connections and everything. And for many of you, you are already freed from that karma. You do not have to keep going into that disrespectful environment. And if you are right now not freed from it, if some situations are impressing upon you in that way, then that is a lesson for you to love yourself, respect yourself, honor yourself, leave situations which are violent, which are abusive, where people are aggressive with you. You do not have to pander to all of that. Why do you have to take responsibility for other people's aggression or the way they are acting? You can completely surrender that to the divine. So I do not know for whom this message is, but I am guided today to share this. And yeah, I hope that it helps you all, knowing that first of all, if you can't respect and love yourself, you cannot love and respect somebody else. The problem we have is we have very deep self-rejection within ourselves, and we try to kind of compensate for that lack of self-love by looking for that approval from somebody else. We are trained to do that because we don't approve of ourselves, we don't respect ourselves, so we want somebody else to do that for us. And this is the way in which we are in control of the matrix, and in which our consciousness is outwardly determined. And this is the cycle you're breaking. So if I don't see the divinity in myself, how can I see the divinity in another being? If I do not respect my own boundaries, how can I respect another person's boundaries? If I don't have compassion for myself, if I don't understand my mind, my compulsions, my habits, my limitations, how can I ever understand somebody else's compulsions and limitations? Only in the depth that I have explored myself can I understand somebody else's depth. Only in the compassion I hold for myself can I hold compassion even for my twin flame and for other people as well. Right? So, this is very, very important. This is a very important lesson, that you keep it in mind like this. And it's not about being aggressive about self love or just, but it is just about being conscious of where am I not loving myself, where am I not accepting myself. It is important that you do that. It's a part of your journey. As a divine feminine, this is your pathway to fully accept yourself, to fully love yourself, to fully respect yourself. And if that is not showing up for you in your outside reality, where you are being meted out with disrespect in some way or form, then yes, it is something for you to look at within you, maybe to have a stronger boundary, how you feel about yourself. These are continuous lessons, for you, to come into your true authentic self. Everything will bring you back to your true authentic self. So it's important that we understand these concepts in greater depth before we jump to conclusions about them. We do not approach spirituality through mind, through morality, through religion. We are only and only in touch with our inner guide, right? Who will take us very, very far. So when this content is shared with you, especially I know like on Hindi channel, sometimes I have seen this kind of content where people are speaking of karma in a very wrong way. They are asking people to do good karma to offset the bad karma. It's a very, very wrong concept. You are not, this is not for a being going through a spiritual awakening. For ordinary people, perhaps this is how they want to live their lives because they have many other lifetimes that they're thinking of. But a being going through a spiritual awakening, a twin flame especially, going through a very profound spiritual awakening of the highest order, where everything in your life is changing rapidly, nothing of the old is making sense. So do not go into half knowledge. Half knowledge is extremely dangerous, about karma, about unconditional love, self sacrifice, and all those things. Till these things are not understood deeply and experienced very deeply by your being, they are not your reality. And do deeper research, be more curious. If you have these questions, this is what I have always done, and this is why I am able to share this with clarity. But do not settle for half-baked wisdom anywhere and allow those ideas to impact you, because that's a very dangerous thing. I think people can spend years propagating those, believing in those ideas which are falsely translated, especially these spiritual concepts. It's important we have the right information, we go to the right sources to understand spiritual concepts and everything like that. And as a twin flame, you actually have the power to understand this wisdom in greater depth, in greater understanding. So like, that's a great gift. Okay, if you wish to work one on one with me, if you need guidance on your twin flame journey, if you connect with me deeply, then you can book a session with me. You can see the kinds of sessions that I offer in the link in the description box, and then mail me to book it at a mutually convenient date and time. I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye.